A third of the league's top players switch teams. More than $4 billion change hands. And, just one helicopter chasing a line of SUVs down a highway. Maybe it always had to end here in Las Vegas. There's no NBA team here, but damn, if this town does not represent the NBA right now, I don't know what does. A game of high stakes, right? Where franchises are required to make increasingly huge gambles just to stay in it. Think about this. On this date, just a year ago, Kawhi Leonard was still on the Spurs. In the time since, we have seen Raptors president Masai Ujiri throw his reputation, the goodwill of Toronto's fans, his franchise's best star into the center of the table, only to have that huge gamble pay off with a jackpot title that, echoed through the streets. And then to have his fortune turn again this week as Kawhi left town for good. Or how about Thunder GM Sam Presti, who thought he'd scored the ultimate winning hand last summer when his huge gamble on Paul George seemed to pay off, only to discover, this summer the cards he was holding weren't as strong as he thought. Couldn't keep Paul George after all. And now Russell Westbrook is also reportedly on the trading block too. You can expect to hear a lot of speculation over the next few days over exactly why Paul asked for this trade, whether he was unhappy with Russ. Paul tried to put all of that to a halt last night. He used this tweet echoing Jalen Rose saying he's not here for any Westbrook slander. He also appeared in this IG story.
Looks like my boys coming with me to LA. Where we going, cuz?
We coming home.
We coming home.
That really tells you everything you need to know. That this had a lot less to do with who he was leaving behind and a lot more to do with who he was going to and where he was going. PG idolized Kobe as a kid, but he actually grew up a Clippers fan. And he now gets to play for his team in front of his friends and family. He also gets to play with Kawhi Leonard, who he has known since they were both at mid-major colleges. Look at these two babies in that picture going against each other. Come on. Of course, now Kawhi has grown into not just a two-time Finals MVP and a two-time Defensive Player of the Year, but the man who spent this week making Paul feel wanted, heavily recruiting him, according to Ramona Shelburne. Ramona was actually on the jump a few days ago talking about Kawhi calling Kevin Durant last week to try to team up, and how that was a red alert sign that the Clippers would likely have to acquire a second star in order to land Kawhi, possibly using the war chest of trade assets that they had built up over this past year. And my reaction then was the same as it is now, that there is no price too high for the Clippers in this scenario. Yeah, the list of assets that Adrian Wojnarowski has reported that LA is giving up is staggering. Because, according to Woj, the Thunder played this very smart, bringing both the Clippers and the Raptors to the poker table to bid each other up. But also, yes, it was still worth it for the Clippers, because it's not really just a trade of assets for Paul George. It's a trade for Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Just like when the Lakers gave up that whole bonanza for Anthony Davis. It wasn't really just a trade for AD. It was a trade for AD and the maximized version of LeBron James. A version of LeBron you just weren't going to get unless you teamed him up with another superstar. And now, both LA franchises are all in, having mortgaged their futures for a seat at the high roller table. And why not, really, right? GMs around the league have watched, and they've seen what all the Celtics, right? Careful, methodical, play it safe planning got for them. Or how the Warriors built one of the best rosters of all time, and it still wasn't enough to keep KD. Simply nothing about the future is guaranteed in this league anymore. So why not push in all your chips and live like there's no tomorrow? It's what they do here in Las Vegas, and I would bet we're going to see a lot more of that for years to come. Perk, when you think about what the Clippers did here, how much they gave up, and who they now have on this roster, because it's Kawhi, it's Paul George, and by the way, also Pat Beverly, the defense alone on that team is going to be insane.
It's crazy. They're going to set records defensively. I tweeted last night, I wouldn't be surprised if they averaged 30 steals a game. This is something that we might not ever see in a lifetime with these three defensive guys, but you got to give a lot of credit to the Clippers, first of all. I said this I said this on my Twitter. that Doc went there and dropped some bars on Kawhi. But look, he must have went there and dropped Jay-Z bars and sung Beyonce songs. I tell you what, it happened. But you got to give a lot of credit to Kawhi and his uncle, by the way. Kawhi is starting to become a major player in this league. I said today he's more. I compared him to MJ on the court just because of the way he plays. But now with this power move that he made to force a key guy to go to his organization, to force them to trade him, now he's doing things that LeBron James do off the court. And Kawhi is saying to the world, "Hey man, I'm here. I'm that guy. I'm that guy. I can make power moves. I'm controlling this." Mm-hmm. Not only did he do that, he went against one of the best franchises ever in the San Antonio Spurs. Nobody ever went to war with the Spurs. He did, and it turned out best for him. That speaks volumes, and I think Kawhi is starting to find his swag, and he's starting to consider himself as really one of those top guys. Hey, when you mention LeBron, when you mention Kevin Durant, you better mention me second.
Name, yep.
That's right. Nick Friedel, by the way, joining us as well. You don't look like Damian Lillard. So
I wish I had his bank account.
I should have pointed that out right off the jump as we came back from the break. What do you make, because you've been covering the Warriors this past year, you saw that dynasty splinter apart, and now you've got two powers rising to the south in Los Angeles.
If the Clippers stay healthy, Rach, that's the team that I think can do it, because they have all the pieces in play right now. And to what Perk's saying, Doc knows how to build winners. And that is a huge key to me, because you can have all the pieces there, but you got to have the person in place to make it all work.
Absolutely.
Doc Rivers knows how to do it.
And I'm a witness
in Boston.
to that.
Absolutely. We've seen it in Boston, and we know he knows how to both build teams and pace teams throughout a regular season going into the playoffs. He knows what he's going to need to do with Kawhi, with load management. He's got Paul George coming off his surgery. He'll know exactly which buttons to press. And that team, watching the Clippers, talking to the Warriors about the Clippers core in the last few months, Draymond and KD and all those guys said, this team is going to be for real. And that was before they added stars. Now with stars, the sky's the limit.
Rachel, yesterday was a triumph for doing things the right way, right?
Yes.
Larry Brown always used to talk about playing the right way. The Clippers ran their organization the right way. They were cap conscious. They drafted well. They developed talent. They had a great coach, front office, ownership, all on the same page. Nobody stepping on each other's toes. Jerry West, maybe the greatest executive of all time.
Ace in the hole.
At this point, he is the greatest executive of all time. And so, but all of that is why scrapbooks don't matter. Banners don't matter. What matters is what we're doing today. And that's what resonated with Kawhi. And then the other part of this, Perk hit it on the head. We've been thinking about Kawhi Leonard as he's a player, he's really good, but he just wants to play. And he announced himself, I am a superstar in this league. I make power moves. All hail King Kawhi. First of his name, long may he reign.
Hey, hold on, time out. It's Saturday, man. It's not Sunday, man. You up here preaching the gospel today. You preaching the gospel today, man. It's Saturday. I love it. Talk, my brother.
I appreciate it.
All right, so that's the Clippers. I want to turn to the Lakers, however, right?
Uh-oh.
Because I'm so pleased about this part of this. Boogie and the Brow has been rescued from the cancellation bin. You know how there's like
ABC
40,
picked it up.
right? You know how there's like 40 CSIs, like CSI Pittsburgh or whatever?
Yeah.
This is Boogie and the Brow, LA style. I love it. And Woj is reporting DeMarcus Cousins has indeed agreed to a 1-year, $3.5 million deal with the Lakers. And this is going to be an even broader Pelicans reunion. Boogie and the Brow plus, maybe? Because, yes, we have a Perk bomb.
Hey.
Bring it. Let me see it.
What we got?
Rajon Rondo headed back to the Lakers. All right, so first of all, Perks reporting gets us again. But, I want you to sort of look at this roster, right? This is who they're filling out. A little bit of a scramble once Kawhi made his decision because they needed to do a lot before noon Eastern today, and the deals started executing. Not even just their Anthony Davis deal, but other deals around the league, and trades started to go through. What do you think of that roster and what they've done in the wake of Kawhi turning them down?
Well, first of all, this was the risk they knew they were taking. And to me, when you have an opportunity to get a Kawhi Leonard, you live with that risk. But that also means you live with what happens when it doesn't work out. And so they had some things that looked like lined up. Danny Green, for instance, standing order. If Kawhi doesn't come here, you got this deal waiting on you. That's a great pickup right there. But then the one thing I want to say about this roster, Rachel, and I think it's got talent. It's older, and also it's short on defense.
Right.
You got Danny Green, you got Anthony Davis. LeBron plays defense when he wants to. Often that's not November, December, and January. Rondo's a step slower. Quinn Cook's not a great defender. Jared Dudley's a step slower. Kuzma's not a good defender. McGee is an athlete and a shot blocker. Caldwell Pope could be good defensively. So that's a lot of question marks / negatives on the defensive end, and only a couple of, put it in ink, positives.
Well, by losing Lonzo Ball, that's sort of an untalked about part of that
Ingram.
Anthony Davis trade.
And Hart.
He and Ingram played a lot of their defensive numbers, especially earlier in the season.
And Hart. Those three players were very important for them defensively. So you like the talent, you like the offensive potential, but Perk, my question is, are they going to be able to guard people?
Well, see, this is my thing. I've been very critical of the Lakers because they deserved it.
Yep.
But I tell you what, they got my approval on all this today. First of all, you add nothing but championship experience. They have so many champions on this team. They have so many guys with chips on their shoulder. You know, King James is coming back with a vengeance. Anthony Davis, I haven't seen him look this good in a minute as far as his body structure. You know, DeMarcus Cousins have something to prove. We all know that Rajon Rondo is a mastermind of basketball. We all know that Jared Dudley is a James Posey of a 2008 Boston Celtics.
That's a compliment.
Great compliment.
Okay, it is. He's gonna do it and put his sacrifice. He's gonna put his body on the line, and I love it. And guess what? With them not signing Kawhi, guess who it helps the most? Kyle Kuzma. Now we get to see him be the guy who he wants to be, because if they would have signed Kawhi, that would have took away from the development and the playing time from Kuzma. So I think, hey, I'm looking at the Lakers and the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals.
Okay, well, first of all, Damian Lillard made a very good case for his Blazers, and I think he's right. I don't want to get some of these other teams that don't have as much, right? The Denver Nuggets are still coming.
Yeah.
Utah made some serious moves.
Yes.
Portland is still up there. This is a competitive conference, and I love the balance we have because, yeah, I think the Clippers get to be the favorites, but the Lakers are going to be really good. The Nets are we don't know what they're going to be with just Kyrie next year, but then they're going to have KD in the mix. Philadelphia is going to be really good. Milwaukee is going to be really good. We're going to see balance around the league that we have not seen in years.
There's an excitement throughout the whole NBA race that hadn't been there in a long, long time. Because everybody realizes that they walk into next year with a shot.
Right.
And a lot of times it was kind of like, all right, the last few years, well, it's the Warriors to lose. If they stay healthy, they're going to roll.
Right.
And sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. But as far as the Lakers go, when you look at that roster, that is a professional group.
Yep.
Right.
The guys they brought in know how to play.
Right.
They know what to do, how to win. The only thing that scares me is LeBron is going to be 35, and he better do it right now. The Lakers' window is right now. I just don't know if they have the star power throughout the regular season and possibly a long postseason stretch to finish it out.
Well, I'd still love them to pick up Marcus Morris. Do they have room for that, or is that dead
He
now?
tweeted today, that's not going to happen.
That's not happening.
So, we'll see. That's what he said.
We'll see if they can make any other small additions around as we go. I think, though, we want to get back a little bit. We're going to go to a break now. We're going to talk a little bit about Russell Westbrook. We also, at some point of this show, are going to talk a little bit about what happened in this building last night, because there was an earthquake, and also Zion Williamson. We'll get it all.